Math 3, Unit 2, Section 3. Here I'm going to go through the last word problem we have from our notes. I want to make sure you understand this because you will have it on your homework as well as on your test. So, a surf shop carries longboards that are from 98 to 140 inches long. For a beginner surfer using a longboard, it is recommended that the length of the board in inches be 7/4 times a person's height. Write a compound inequality in terms of h that represents the problem. Okay, a compound inequality is our and problems, basically, where you're writing everything together. So we are writing from our lowest to our highest number, okay? And in this case, so our smallest or lowest number is 98, and our largest number is 140. Okay, and we know that our inequality signs are going to be less than or equal to both of those, because we're talking about this as a whole, okay? And we need to decide, well, what goes in here. And so based on the problem, they are saying that 7/4 times a person's height as h is how long the board should be. So in here, this should be 7/4 h. And so these are the size longboards that they have, and based in between those two sizes, so they go from 98 to 140, and based on 7/4 of a person's height. Okay, so that is my compound inequality. In part B now, they want us to solve it. So we want to get our height, or our h, by itself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the problem. So we have 98 is less than or equal to 7/4 h is less than or equal to 140. And so we could separate these into two problems, but it's okay to just leave it the way it is. You just need to know that you actually have two problems here. So right here, this is one problem where 7/4 h is less than or equal to 140. And then right here, this is another problem where we have 7/4 h is greater than or equal to 98, or you can think of it as 98 is less than or equal to 7/4 h. So when I'm solving this, when I want to eliminate this fraction, just like we did earlier in our notes, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 4/7. So that will eliminate that fraction. But because we have two problems here, I have to multiply the 4/7 to both sides here, because we have to multiply it to everything on each problem. So 4/7 to both of those, and then 4/7 to both of those. Okay, so what happens there is that this is eliminated, so we have h in the middle. Notice that I didn't multiply by any negatives or divide by any negatives, so my inequality signs are going to stay the same. And then we are going to reduce both sides. And so over here, if you were to reduce, if you divide 98 divided by 7, it actually reduces evenly, and it goes in there 14 times. And then 14 times 4 is 56. Okay, and over here, 7 goes into 140 20 times, and then 20 times 4 is 80. And so that means that the person's height is between 56 and 80 inches. So this is my solving part. That's my answer. And then they've asked us to graph the solution set. So remember, when we're graphing, we're going to go from our smallest to greatest number. So we have 56 up to 80. Okay, if you notice here, this is actually an and problem, and so we know it should be the overlapping portion. And we know that this should be between 56 and 80. And so it's going to be a solid point here and a solid point here, and everything in between. So in between 56 and 80. If you want to write these as separate problems, this problem right here is h is greater than or equal to 56. Because you always read it with your variable first. And so if you notice here you have h, see how the open part's going to the h? Here I have the h, open part is going to the h, is 56. So this is saying h is greater than or equal to 56, and then it's saying on this side, h is less than or equal to 80. And so if you look here, see we have a closed circle and it's greater than or equal to 56, and then h is less than or equal to 80 going that way. And you can see here that they do overlap in the middle. You don't need to do all this. I just wanted to make sure you understand that it's where the two overlap. But this is always how your answer should be written, with the 56 is less than or equal to h is less than or equal to 80. All right, and then part D, it says, what is the height of the shortest person that the surf shop carries a longboard for? So the shortest person is your smallest number here. And so in this case, the shortest person is 56 inches. This is an acceptable answer, but if you wanted to change that into feet, you would need to, how many inches are in a foot? And so there are 12 inches in a foot. And so if you divide 12 into 56, it goes in 4 times. So that's 4 feet. And then there are 8 inches left over. And so 4'8" would be the smallest longboard that this surf shop carries a board for. All right, and that's it.